Hello. So what we have is the UBL Majors match analysis for week 1. As I said, I would go through and watch each match once. Just to kind of, because I've got to get kill leaders down and make note of which one I wanted to kind of look at, or if anyone had any suggestions. And no one did suggest anything, but if you do have suggestions from the replays in the Discord, then do let me know of matches to highlight. But this was the one from the major division that I chose to highlight. I will say right now, if I didn't play in it already, I would have highlighted my own match because I thought that match was really good. But this was a very, very, very good one as well. So we have Fat Rat versus I believe Jamesy. Just double check, because I don't know everyone's showdown. Yes, this is Jamesy and the London Luxrays versus Fat Rat and the Mexico Mimikyus, if I can speak. You see Fat Rat's team at the bottom. We've got Togekiss, the Zygarde that has the ability to go into Zygarde 100%, because it's illegal to have power. This is a Zygarde that has Power Construct. Mega Gengar, Xurkitree, Archeops, and Porygon 2. Porygon Z. Meanwhile, Jamesy has Mega Salamence, Comfey, Blacephalon, Nidoqueen, Luxray, and Yveltal. Or Yveltal, because I will call them both. So, I don't remember exactly how these games go. Again, this was one of the earliest matches. I believe this might have been the second match. Excuse me. I'm also kind of tired, because I just kind of woke up. And I wanted to record. And yeah, so the match we looked at previously, the Minors League highlight match for this week, that was the first match played, and I believe this was the second. So anyway, let's get into this. So we see from Fat Rat a lead of Togekiss Xurkitree into a lead of Comfey Yveltal. Xurkitree puts on a lot of offensive pressure. You got the Comfey, which, I mean, I don't really see a Trick Room mode with the Comfey, but, like, Comfey also will just do, like, good things all around. So you Protect come out as a Draining Kiss, trying to chips the Xurkitree, and Follow Me doesn't do anything because Triage is +3 priority. So yeah, which is one really, really huge thing. Like, Triage being essentially the same priority as Fake Out makes it any healing moves it uses just instant, essentially. Like, the only things that go before it are faster Fake Outs, Protects, and Helping Hands. And that's basically it. There's some things that are +3 priority as well. I believe I noted last time that at the end of last season, like, things like Crafty Shield is +3 priority. But yeah, there's, like, if you're using something +3 priority, honestly, it's probably not even going to stop Comfey from doing what it's doing unless it is Fake Out, and Fat Rat does not have access to Fake Out. So the Follow Me Togekiss is not going to do much. We see an Ally Switch come out this time. This Comfey kind of throwing some shenanigans around. We see a Gengar switch in, and the Follow Me potentially doing something there. I don't think it would have, because if we're seeing Oblivion Wing come out and not Dark, usually means that it probably wouldn't do it. He's going to go for the Togekiss anyway. But we're seeing some tricky stuff in its Comfey already. We're seeing the Ally Switch, and honestly, Ally Switch, I mean, I think most people who have played VGC 2020 aren't the biggest fan of Ally Switch, myself included. I'm not a fan of Ally Switch at all. But, like, the thing with Ally Switch is it has 2 applications. You can either use it early to start messing with your opponent and making them start to play around Ally Switch as early as this, turn 2 of game 1, or you can save it as a last minute tech, and using it this early can really mess with your opponents if they start trying to predict Ally Switches. So, we see the Mega come out, and we see the Draining Kiss into the Yveltal getting a Weakness Policy boost. See the Follow Me come out, which is gonna not, like, stop that Draining Kiss, and the Oblivion Wing into the Togekiss is gonna do a lot of damage. This is a combo that I didn't think would be as strong as it is, because I thought Weakness Policy stuff is more so considered in you know, 2020 because you don't take much damage from your own hits, but because of Oblivion Wing healing back pretty much anything used, getting that +2 boost, and especially on Yveltal, a Pokemon that can use both of its offensive stats with things like Sucker Punch, as well as, you know, Dark Pulse and Oblivion Wing, the Pokemon is a very scary weakness policy user, something I didn't really consider, but like this thing, as well as a good bulk, can really take advantage of this weakness policy, and I think we're going to see a lot of that. We see this Luxray come out, and really, like, for me, like, I think of Luxray as like, you don't see Luxray too much, for obvious reasons, it is a Luxray, but we see Intimidate, which means it's more, we can probably expect more of supporty stuff rather than, like, Guts Flame Orb. So, see the Follow Me come out, Sludge Bomb, try and chip that Yveltal away, get a Dark Pulse off, which that was probably going for the Gengar, and we see a Snarl come out, really neutering this Gengar a bit. We see Xurkitree come out, a Sludge Bomb into the Luxray, T-Bok into Yveltal, and a Snarl pressure continuing. So, this is a very bulky Luxray. So take a Shadow Ball from Mega Gengar, that healthily, it's pretty impressive. So this is a very bulky Luxray for sure. And these Snarls are really making it hard for Farah's special offense to make waves here. So we see a Sludge Bomb come out, not doing enough, and having the Aqua Berry activate. The T-Bolt not doing enough, but we get the power off Oblivion Wing into the Xurkitree, and that's not going to do it. But another Snarl will at least put the Xurkitree on 1, and Gengar will go down, and we see Zygarde come in. So, this Snarl, I was going to say Snarl-Canine, but I guess it's Snarlray? Or Snarlux? I like that sound. We'll go with Snarlux. So Snarlux is kind of like just putting on a lot of pressure here. This, like, the defensive, like, bulk of this Luxray is just kind of neutering a lot of the offensive pressure that Fat Rat wants to go for. So it's really up to this Zygarde to see if it can do anything. And, like, sure, it's good against the Luxray, but that's still a +2 Yveltal. It might be paralyzed because of the T-Bolt, but yeah. It's still a lot of offensive pressure. And we see Baby Doll come out. The Yveltal does go down, and we see a Beast Boost, which does at least help, and we see the sub come up from the Zygarde. So it may be at -1 attack, but it can't be affected by the Baby Doll Eyes anymore. So that's not a bad trade. Obviously, it's not going to be hit by any Electric-type moves. And the Baby Doll Eyes is a really cool tech. Like, it's basically just a way to slow down the opponent. I really do like it. We see the Ments come in, and that's where the sub matters even more, because now, now the Ments' Intimidate doesn't make this go to -2. It's only to -1. We see the Mega come out and a Protect come off. T-Bot into the Salamence, and we see a DD come out. Snarl picks up the damage, and then onto Xurkitree. Zygarde gets its stuff going. It's lefties, and the Snarl, like, lowering the special attack isn't going to matter here. Like, if we're seeing sub DD, we're expecting physical. It's just the Snarl going through the sub is, like, it's just a bit of damage that they're basically negating lefties recovery. We see Thousand Arrows come out, which are going to kind of bot both. We presumably see the Baby Doll Eyes come out, trying not to reveal any information, but you can also infer from this that there is 0 attacking moves on this Luxray that aren't Electric type. I would say it's not. I don't know if we get to see the full set, but I would infer Snarl, Baby Doll Eyes, probably Volt Switch and Protect, or Volt Switch and Wild Charge, or what I would expect Volt Switch on this kind of set because it reminds me a bit of like what Snarl and Incineroar want to do. So yeah, we see the Dragon Claw come out, breaks the sub. We see the Baby Doll Eyes come out, drop the attack even more. The Luxray goes down, but now it's a 1v1. And we see the Dragon Claw come out. The Zygarde lives and gets the Power Construct. So if you don't know what Power Construct does, it's kind of nutty. It gives you a massive increase in stats, including basically doubling your HP. I think even more than that. Like it went down like 80% or so. Like it took 77.2 to 80.1, 81.2 even, and like it went from like 17% or something like that, back up to like 44%-ish, which is a lot. It gives you a lot of increase in stats. It's very, very powerful. It's just, obviously, the question is, how do you get it there? Because you have to be at least, I believe it's at 50% health to get the transformation. So we see the 1,000 arrows come out, get a crit there, but the Zygarde lives on 1. That 1 HP live, and I don't think, because of that 1 HP lift, I don't think the crit matters here. We also see, like, it's not going for any dragon moves, which makes sense, because Zygarde doesn't really get a lot of great dragon coverage. Usually, like, in singles, it likes to go for outrage, but, like, in doubles, you don't really want to outrage. So, we see the 1,000 arrows come out, and that will take it out. Yeah, so he says sorry about the crit. I don't think the crit mattered. The live is what mattered here. I'd calc sets, but I don't exactly know what each player are running, because I wouldn't know what exactly what kind of Zygarde set this is, because Zygarde's a very interesting Pokemon when you give it the access to Power Construct. How well do you want to play around that Power Construct? Because, like, it's a big deal. You get the Power Construct off, and things become very, very scary. So, especially if you let it get too much health back, essentially. So we're going to game 2. And this time we see Comfey Yveltal lead again versus Togekiss and Zygarde this time. So Mimikyus leads from Fat Rat. We see a switch straight into Luxray from the Comfey. And a double switch straight out. Getting the Zygarde basically down there immediately. And the Zygarde gets a sub up. So now there's a -2 Zygarde just stuck behind a sub. And you don't really want to waste the sub. The Follow Me does come out, which is nice. And we see a Glare come out. And there's a Wild Charge. So we see the Electric-type move. So we saw 2 of its moves. We saw Snarl, Baby Doll Eyes, Wild Charge. So it could be Volt Switch, it could be Protect. So you Follow Me come out, just basically trying to make it so that this Mence can't really go for attacks into the Zygarde. See Gengar come out, see the Mega, but yeah, like if that was a Dragon Claw here again, knowing that the Wild Charge would KO, that's fair enough. The Glare's a really interesting one. It's basically like a form of speed control, because like otherwise, like, other than Tailwind Togekiss, there's no speed control, other than maybe Tailwind Archeops, but that seems a little sus. But the Togekiss is kind of just basically trying to protect the Zygarde as much as possible. And now we have Gengar in for a lot of special offense, but it's a question of how much it can really get done. Zygarde's finally back to neutral attack, and we see a crit onto the Luxray, which definitely mattered. We saw last game it was doing like 41%. That crit picks up the KO, and that's huge. Now you got a Zygarde with a sub, but Mensch uses its time appropriately and gets a Tailwind up, which means the speed drop doesn't matter at this point. It's just a chance of getting paralyzed, as well as... So you're not faster than the Mega Gengar, and you're not going to be faster than the Zygarde. But I believe that with a Tailwind up, Yveltal will be faster than the Zygarde. So, and you have Comfey with +3 priority. So that's going to break the sub there. We see another DD come out from Zygarde, and we see the HPIs coming onto Salamence, which makes a lot of sense. We've seen HPIs from Fat Rat back in UBL Season 1 with Mega Gengar, which makes a lot of sense. Fat Rat very much knows that Mega Gengar is a very easy way to go up against Mega Salamence and just take it out. Just because, like, Mega Salamence can be bulky, but it's not... If it uses that bulk, it means it's not as offensively threatening. So it's a 2v4 now. No, 2v3. But this is weakness policy Yveltal. So we see the 1,000 arrows come out. It's going to do a decent chunk. Dark Pulse is going to take out the Gengar. And this is where the Comfey Yveltal combo is going to really shine. Because for the rest of this game, Comfey is just going to make sure that this Yveltal does not go down and destroy any chance that Fat Rat had. Just going for that Oblivion Wing, taking out Zygarde, and that +2 just destroyed Fat Rat. Once that got off, it was over. And because there was no Togekiss to kind of redirect the Dark or keep the other offensive threats safe, it was very much over. And really showed the power of this nation, so yeah, definitely something to watch out for. Especially because Comfey, it's hard to stop it going for stuff like that. The best way you have really is Fake Out. If you have Fake Out pressure, then sure. But then, like, you've got to worry about other things, because Yveltal on its own is scary, but giving it this policy boost is very, very scary. So, Jamesy had a close game 1 where the Zygarde barely lived. A dominant game 2. So, honestly, even though if I was Jamesy, even though I lost game 1, I would still feel very comfortable because of how much offensive pressure this Yveltal is putting on. The only real answer to it is the Xurkitree. So take out the Xurkitree and you're fine. So I'm interested to see how... We're on fast mode. Let's slow it down a bit. So this time we see Double Intimidate come out. Again, trying to stop the Zygarde from being a threat, but the Xurkitree leads alongside it. Which is interesting. So it kind of gives some special offense momentum at the start. And we're not sure if the Togekiss is here this game, but I would imagine a late game Togekiss here could be very, very good. So he's Mega Salamence, and it goes for the Protect. Very smart play, avoids the Volt Switch, and the Glare as well as the Snarl coming out and already dropping the Xurkitree's offense. But we see it wants the Volt Switch. It's more incentivized to Volt Switch now, but yeah. So we see the Volt Switch comes out, and that Volt Switch right there, I don't know if it's been confirmed before this. I've not been paying enough attention, but that one confirms it's Scarf. Confirms it's Scarf Xurkitree, meaning it will outspeed the entire team, other than, you know, Triage Comfey. So your Tailwind come up, a Glare come onto the Salamence, and a Snarl come out. Zygarde's really not doing much at this point, so, like, going for the Glare I think is respectable. It's already at -2 attack, and you don't want to, like, start setting up with the Zygarde. And the Snarl makes sense, because you don't really have a lot else to go with for Arcanine, because, like, you're not going to hit either of these with Wild Charge. Baby Doll Eyes, you've already done enough to the Zygarde where it's kind of neutered, so you may as well just Snarl, see if you can catch the Xurkitree, or whatever switches in. Maybe you catch the Mega Gengar switching in. So your Protect for the Togekiss makes sense as a Double Edge and a Wild Charge go into the Togekiss, and we see a Glare come out, but it doesn't work on the Luxray because it cannot be paralyzed. Come on, Fat Rat. But it was a really good Protect regardless. It's kind of it's a safe play because you know you've been going for Follow Me a lot, and just trying to get something going with a Zygarde is nice. Obviously, a switch there, say to Gengar or to Xurkitree, would have been nice as well. I would say especially to Gengar if you have it, but even Xurkitree would be able to Volt Switch out and get more pressure going. And we do see the switch to Gengar as they go for the Follow Me now, because they kind of have to make sure that this Gengar comes in safely. See a Zygarde come in, and Gengar Mega Evolves, takes out the Salamence, and Thousand Arrows will do a nice chunk to this Luxray. What's really important to note is that Tailwind just wore off, which means there is no more speed control. This Gengar will stay the fastest thing, which is very, very important. And Gengar is also really nice against this Comfey as well, and will be faster to make it so this Luxray isn't getting its Snarl off immediately. But we do see a Protect come out, very nice Protect, stopping the Sludge Bomb, and we see a Thousand Arrows, just making sure it gets some more damage on this Luxray. The quicker this Luxray goes, the better, but unfortunately that Aqua Berry is going to kind of make it so it's even more of a pain. Snarl missed there, but this miss mattered on the wrong target. If the Snarl missed the Gengar, then that could have mattered a lot. But the Snarl missing the Zygarde, you do basically nothing. Like, because of Lefty's gain, it would maybe do 2%. Which, granted, we've seen how big that can matter, but I don't think that matters in the long run of this game, personally. We see a Sludge Bomb come out, gets the Poison, and that Poison is going to be huge here. Because of one reason and one reason alone. And that's that this Comfey will go down at the end of this turn due to that Poison. So, the Zygarde and the Gengar are quite weakened, and Farah has definitely had a lot of good luck on their side. Let's not be unclear. Like, there's been a lot of things. There was like one crit that didn't matter, but I think one crit that very much did. I don't really think there's been any Power Haxers, surprisingly, despite Glares and T-Bolts coming out. But the Gengar is weakened. The Zygarde is weakened. This is a great endgame for this Yveltal, because now, basically what they've been setting up for is this Yveltal endgame, what James has been doing. Like, this Yveltal in this endgame is super, super strong, but the thing is, there is still a circuitry in the back that you have to play around. So, see a Baby Doll Eyes just weaken this thing even more, and I think Fat Rat makes a crucial error here and goes for a Hidden Power Rise on the Yveltal and activates the weakness policy. They had no way of doing it otherwise, and if you focus down the Luxray, then it becomes a 3v1. So that's a huge, huge error that may cost them the game. Dark Pulse comes out, takes out the Gengar. Probably took it out anyway, but that's a +2 Yveltal now. We see a Xurkitree come out. They go for the Protect, and the Thunderbolt goes into the Luxray there. That is a huge read to go for at this point in the game, because I don't know if we've seen Protect from this Yveltal at all. We saw it game 1. We saw the Protect game 1, and going for that read is a huge play. Sure, like, Fat Rat has been very lucky, but that is a read that honestly wins them the game, because I don't think a neutral Thunderbolt onto Yveltal would actually take it out. And then the Luxray gets to get off its Snarl, weaken the circuitry even more. So instead of being at -1, they go to +1, which means that this Yveltal is not living. Thousand Arrows comes out, and we see a T-Bolt come out, and that will take out the Yveltal, and that will be game. So there were some hacks here and there for sure, but I think that play at the end really tightens up the plays that Fat Rat is making. Instead of, they glared at Luxray. But they managed to tighten up that game and really make a hard read that got them the win. They get that read wrong, and Dark Pulse goes into circuitry, the game is over. So it's a super, super impressive read and a really good play to go for. So instead of being at -1 or even neutral, even if Zygarde takes the Luxray out before it gets a Snarl off, Xurkitree's powerful, but Yveltal looks very bulky at times. So it's a question of whether it would have taken it out. But the plus, especially because we know it's scuffed and not an item boosting its offense, but making sure you get that +1 offense to take it out is a huge, huge play. Like I said, there was definitely a lot of luck thrown around, but that is unfortunately Pokemon. If we can look at every crit and every the T-Bolt power and things like that. But I think analyzing where the plays that are good are made is what's important. So I think that's a way of showing, sure, there was a lot of luck, and even the crit on Luxray, which I think was a huge crit on game 2. Jamesy managed to come back from that game and destroy Fat Rat. The game 1, I think there was the power. I'm not sure, and I think there was a crit, but I don't think the crit mattered. It was a crit at the end, right? The crit at the end didn't matter, it was the survival. Which who knows how this Zygarde was built, if that was a roll or not. So yeah, this was also Fat Rat realizing what they needed to win the game. They saved their Xurkitree to the end, rather than kind of just letting it get thrown away. They realized they needed it for the Yveltal in the late game, where it was swept them last time completely. They made a few blunders, but managed to pull it out with some good reads and good plays towards the end. And I think that is what made it the match of the week for me, because it was a few blunders here and there that were turned into a positive advantage during the end, when the person who glared a Luxray also managed to make an incredibly good read towards the end, just to make up for that. And despite making blunders, managed to show what they could do to come back on those, and show that despite making blunders like glaring at Luxray, they were still able to bring it back and show what they could do. So, And I think Chinty also played incredibly well, showing off this Confe Yveltal combo, as well as the Arcanine, the Luxray, this bulky Luxray. It really showed what it could do this week. And basically just kind of was like an Arcanine that couldn't burn things. Instead of burning things, it used Baby Doll Eyes. So I think that was a really, really good use of it. But I think that will do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy these, do let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video. So take it easy, everyone.